Doctor Who The Moonbase, the fourth story of the second Doctor, is written by Kit Pedler and starring Patrick Troughton, Inika Wills, Michael Craze and Fraser Hines. The title was originally going to be Cybermen and The Return of the Cybermen, but obviously changed to The Moonbase. They wanted more positive responses to the Cybermen when Kit Pedler was writing the story. One of the requirements was that the story should have only one large set and a limited number of smaller sets. This was written before they confirmed Fraser Hines as Jamie McCrimmon to be the companion, so they didn't have much room for him, which is why he spends most of the story lying on the sickbay. And this is the last story to have the original title sequence. So the TARDIS crash lands on the moon and Polly thinks they're on Mars, but Ben knows that they're on the moon because he's seen the pictures. And all three companions wanted to have a look, so the Doctor, Ben, Polly and Jamie got into spacesuits and went out the TARDIS and have a jump about on the moon. I love the atmosphere music in this scene where they're on the moon, the one they used in The Edge of Destruction. It fits in perfectly. It's scary and gives you the shivers. So Jamie fell and hurt his head, so he gets taken by two crew members of the Moonbase and puts him in the sick bay. So the Doctor, Polly and Ben went down to that base and everyone introduces each other. Hobson lets Polly see Jamie and keeps the Doctor and Ben. He tells that he's the controller and they're on the Moonbase. That's a weather control station that keeps Earth's weather in check, and the year they're in is 2070. I would be an old man then. Scary. While Polly is looking after Jamie, who's hallucinating seeing Pied Piper, Ben and Ralph goes into the cupboard to write the list, but Ralph gets attacked by a Cyberman and gets taken away, and Polly sees something, so she screams so everyone came and sees there's nothing there. Oh, this is terrifying. And there's few of the crew that's been infected by virus, and the ones in the sickbay gets taken away one by one. As Jamie sees a Cyberman, he thinks it's Phantom Piper. Scary cliffhanger. So Polly came in and screams as she saw Cyberman leaving the room. Great acting there. So everyone came in. Hobson doesn't believe stories about Cybermen, but he sends his men to search around the base. And at that point, Hobson is suspecting that the Doctor and his companions had something to do with it. We get Patrick Troughton's iconic line with "Evil in the universe that must be fought." Great line. Pat played the character so well. Hobson wanted the Doctor and his companions, including Jamie, as he's unwell, off the moon. However, he lets the Doctor find the stuff what causes the disease, so he gave him 24 Earth hours. So the Doctor collected some items, including crew member's shoe. As Polly's alone with Jamie, Cyberman has sneaked up, which is frightening. Cyberman took another body and left. Then the Doctor came in as Polly has recovered. While Hobson is thinking that the Doctor has got something to do with the viruses, bodies get taken away and the air pressure. Ben tells Hobson about another body taken, so the Doctor gets everyone out just so he can help in peace. The bit where Cybermen killed two crew is brutal, and they get stripped off their suits and taken away. As everyone is having coffee, one of them drank it and passed out as he's been infected.
Don't think that! It's the sugar! Don't you see?
So they took him into the sick bay and the Doctor realises it's the sugar. Man, I'd be screwed because I normally take 2 sugars in my tea. So the Doctor looks at the virus and sugar and suspects that it would be the Cybermen. Apparently the crew has searched everywhere in the base except the sick bay they're in. As they look at the beds, and we get a jump scare with Cybermen feet and got out of the bed and moving towards them. Man, my heart was pounding first watching it. Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor, absolutely brilliant. The way he plays a comedic hero. I love the look and portrayal. Even he doesn't act like William Hartnell, but somehow we all know that it's the same man, which is clever. And if Patrick Troughton wasn't a good Doctor, the show would have ended. But definitely 100% love Troughton as the Doctor. Inika Wills and Michael Craze as Polly and Ben are amazing. They're independent and stand up to the enemies. Fraser Hines played Jamie McCrimmon, who appeared in nearly all Troughton stories, who was a Highlander from Scotland in 1746. A brilliant companion. He's another independent companion. I loved his chemistry with the second Doctor, and I buy him and the Doctor as best friends, just like with Captain Jack and the 10th Doctor. Patrick Barr played Hobson, the British captain of the Moonbase. Andre Maran played Roger Benoit, who's French second-in-command and physicist. Michael Wolff played Nils, a Danish astronomer and mathematician. John Rolfe played Sam Beckett, a crew member. Alan Rowe played Dr. Evans, the chief doctor on the Moonbase who gets controlled by the Cybermen. I've noticed there's like different races working in the Moonbase, which I like. They did that later in The Waters of Mars, as far as I've seen. Again, the casts did so well with their role. The sets are fantastic. I love the stock music in this. It's so iconic. The animation for part 1 and 3 is great. Because, well, part 1 and 3 are missing. The design of Cybermen are incredible. And I have to say that version and the 2006 version are my two favourite Cybermen design, because 2006 is the very first Cybermen that I saw. I remember how scary I found it when the blue light turns on when they speak, and the way their faces looked and what they do to people. As for this version, they're so scary, the way their face looked. It suits the Cybermen. I love the claws, and the electronic deep voice is well done. Absolutely terrifying.
You will listen to me and follow my instructions.
I often listen to it like I'm listening to music because I love that voice. As a crew member tried to attack a Cyberman, the other one killed him. They explained that the people were altered, so they left Jamie because he's no use with his head injury, and Ben and Polly stays in the sickbay. As the crew gets no responses from the engineers who went out to fix the aerial, Hobson came in with the Cybermen as they revealed their plan to take over the Gravitron to destroy the Earth, and they access to the Moonbase under the ground. Polly comes up with an idea of mixing nail varnish dissolving plastic, as Cybermen are wearing plastic controls over their chest, which is genius. So Ben helps her making that cocktail. While the crew were controlled by the Cybermen controlling the Gravitron, and the Doctor messes on with the machinery, the Earth tries to contact Moonbase and the Cybermen orders no reply. So Ben, Polly and Jamie came in and squirt the liquid at Cybermen and they died, which is nicely done. While the Cybermen are preparing for invasion, Benoit finds spacesuits lying around on the moon surface and gets chased by Cybermen, which is intense. Luckily Ben came to the rescue and killed them with those liquids, and later on there's army of Cybermen moving towards the Moonbase with an iconic cliffhanger. As everyone sees the army of Cybermen coming, they get told that the base is surrounded and resistance is useless. So Hobson tells them that they've blocked their way in, so they try to contact Earth, but it's jammed as the Cybermen are interfering it. The Cyberman in the ship has picked up the signal of spaceship flying from Earth. So the Cybermen are on the surface, sends a signal to Evans, and he knocks a crew member out. That was the very first clip I saw of Moonbase. At the time where it wasn't animated, I was really sad when it's missing and I don't get to see it. When I first heard the Cybermen voice in that story, I was like, whoa, I love this, really scary.
They have blocked our way into the base and other methods to it.
So Cybermen orders Moonbase to obey the instructions. While Polly gave everyone coffee without sugar, they noticed on the scanner that the spaceship is flying too fast to elsewhere, and noticed that Evans is using the controls. As there's more ill people getting controlled, Ben and Jamie barricade them inside the sickbay. Cybermen tells the Moonbase to open the airlock or their base gets destroyed. So then they put a hole on the window. As the oxygen is running out, they use the plate to cover the hole and holding the oxygen. So the Cybermen kept firing the dome. The laser effect is nicely done. While Cybermen puts a big laser gun away, the Doctor, Polly, Hobson and Benoit turns the Gravitron around, and the Cybermen and their ship gets flown right into space, which is pretty effective. So the Doctor and his companions nick spacesuits to get themselves back to the TARDIS, and the Doctor doubts that it would be the last time they'll see the Cybermen. So as they're in the TARDIS, we get a scary ending with a large crab claw appeared, plus the Macro Terror is filmed separately to the ending of the Moonbase because the prop was too big to be brought into the studio. So that's the Moonbase, and I love it. The atmosphere and Cybermen was scary. The story is well written, well directed and well casting. What did you think of this story? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.